Have you ever met a woman who looks so pure, so gentle, so harmless? She gazes at you with soft eyes, speaks with calm words, and smiles like an angel. And without realizing it, you start to believe her. You let your guard down. You think she's different. But here's the truth. No one dares to tell you. The most innocent face can hide the deadliest power, because women who appear gentle often understand something most men never do. Softness is the most irresistible form of control. You think you're leading, but without knowing it, you're already being led. Look around. How many men have fallen for the woman who seemed safe, only to end up broken, emotionally, financially, even spiritually? They all said the same thing. I thought she was different. But different turned out to mean more dangerous. This is the hidden game many women play. A quiet psychological chess match that most men don't notice until it's too late. They don't fight with anger or threats. They don't shout or command. They simply make you want to please them. And the moment you depend on their approval, the trap begins. First, she makes you feel needed. She whispers, "I don't know what I'd do without you." Your chest warms. You feel important. But slowly, without realizing it, you start disappearing. Second, she begins to withdraw. Not too much, just enough to make you wonder. She becomes colder, quieter, distant. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? And that's exactly what she wants. Because the more you chase her warmth, the more control she has. Third, she begins to use guilt as her weapon. When you stand up for yourself, she cries. When you pull away, she accuses you of being heartless. And when you give in, she rewards you with affection. She doesn't command you. She shapes you. Your world slowly begins to revolve around her. That isn't love. That's emotional dominance. A woman with an innocent look doesn't need to raise her voice. She just waits until you destroy yourself in the name of love. You start ignoring your friends. You stop chasing your dreams. You fear disappointing her more than losing yourself. And when you finally try to talk about your pain, she says, "You're overreacting." And just like that, you feel guilty again. That's the hidden power she holds. Not the power to hurt you directly, but to make you hurt yourself. Here's what most men never realize. Soft women can be far more dangerous than loud ones, because you know how to defend yourself against open attacks, but you're never ready for the kind that comes disguised as love. She doesn't conquer you with words. She conquers you with fear, the fear of losing her. And once you're afraid of losing her, you're already hers. Now listen carefully. Some women don't crave love. They crave control through love. Love is not their goal. It's their weapon. They know how to appear vulnerable, when to cry, when to stay silent. Each move calculated. Each smile designed to slip past your defenses. You think it's natural. It's not. It's strategy. You believe you chose her. But in reality, you were chosen. Long before you even realized there was a game being played. If you constantly feel like the bad guy, if you always feel guilty even when you did nothing wrong, if you're terrified of losing her even when she keeps hurting you, stop. Take a breath. Look deeper, because chances are you're not in love. You're in a game you never agreed to play. These women don't break you with anger. They break you with tenderness. That's why even smart, strong men fall for it, because they never see it coming. And now comes the cruelest truth. Not every woman is like this, but the ones who are, you can't fix them, because they don't play for love. They play for power. They don't want you gone, but they don't want you free either. They want you stuck, chained to their emotional rhythm. They want you to love them, suffer for them, and fear losing them. Because as long as you fear losing them, they own you. And the most painful part? They know you'll stay, because they've made you believe that without them, you're nothing. That's not love. That's psychological imprisonment disguised as devotion. Now that you know this secret, ask yourself, are you truly in love, or addicted to the pain she made you believe was love? Because that's how this game survives. They convince you that pain means passion, that sacrifice means loyalty. But in reality, you're just losing yourself one day at a time. Never confuse innocence with purity. Never assume calm means kind. Sometimes the sweetest poison comes in the prettiest glass. Now you have two choices. Stay trapped in this game, or wake up and take back your power. Don't fall for soft eyes that hide hard intentions. Don't surrender your peace just to keep her happy. True love doesn't make you lose yourself. True love doesn't feed on your fear. Real love makes you stronger, not smaller. Choose now. Because time doesn't wait. And the longer you stay, the deeper you sink. She may look innocent, but now you know her innocence might be the most dangerous thing about her. But let's go even deeper. Why does this happen? Why do so many men fall for the woman who looks harmless? Because men are trained to protect softness. We're wired to respond to vulnerability. When she cries, your instinct isn't to question, it's to fix. And that's exactly what she counts on. She doesn't need to demand attention. She earns it through your own guilt. You feel like a hero every time you comfort her. But what you don't see is that you're building a cage of your own making. You start thinking you're her savior. But slowly, you become her slave. She'll use silence like a blade, withdrawal like a weapon. She doesn't need to yell. Her quiet is loud enough to break you. And when you finally apologize for things you didn't even do, she knows she's won because the moment you start apologizing for existing, you've already surrendered your identity. But here's the real danger. This kind of manipulation doesn't just hurt you once. It rewires you. It makes you question every future connection. You start to believe that love always comes with anxiety, that affection always comes with fear, that every woman who looks kind must be hiding a knife. That's how deep the wound goes. That's why emotional manipulation is more dangerous than any visible scar, because it changes who you are without leaving a mark. But here's something most men don't realize. The more emotionally intelligent you are, the easier it is for these women to trap you. Because you feel deeply. You notice details. You care. And she knows how to use that against you. She'll say, "You're the only one who understands me. You're the only one I can trust." And right there, you're hooked. You'll spend weeks, months, even years trying to keep being the only one. You'll trade your peace for her approval, your confidence for her comfort. And one day, you'll wake up realizing you've built your entire world around someone who would burn it down just to feel powerful. Now, here's the twist. Sometimes, she's not even doing it consciously. Some women learned this pattern from a lifetime of being hurt themselves. They learned that the only way to feel safe is to control. And control can come disguised as love. So no, this isn't always about evil. It's about survival. But that doesn't make it any less dangerous. Because love built on fear always leads to destruction. If you're watching this right now and you feel like you're trapped, remember this. You're not weak for caring. You're just addicted to someone who keeps changing the rules. But the moment you stop trying to fix her, you start fixing yourself. You start seeing that peace doesn't come from chasing approval. It comes from setting boundaries. You don't need to fight her. You just need to stop feeding the game, because manipulation dies the second it loses your attention. So here's what you do. Learn to recognize emotional traps. When someone uses guilt instead of communication, walk away. When silence becomes punishment, walk away. When love starts to feel like a test you can never pass, walk away, because staying won't heal her. It will only destroy you. One day, she'll realize what she lost. A man who would have given her everything. But by then, it will be too late. You'll have rebuilt yourself. You'll have learned that peace is more powerful than passion. And that real love doesn't demand you lose yourself to keep it alive. So remember this final truth. An innocent look can deceive your eyes, but your intuition will never lie. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust that voice inside you, that quiet warning that says, something isn't right. That's your soul trying to save you. Walk away before the sweetest smile becomes your downfall. Because in the end, the most dangerous thing about her was never her beauty, never her words, never her tears. It was how she made you doubt your own strength, and once you reclaim that strength, you'll finally see her innocence for what it really was. A mask that you no longer need to fear.